Hi. So, I'm just here getting a burger, and I thought I'd spare at least a good 5 minutes talking about Dirty Harry. If I haven't already, it might be a retread. Who knows? Anyway, there was a movie franchise called Dirty Harry. There were I think it was four Dirty Harry films, and each one was like 8 years apart. They took place in like basically the decades since the uh, 30 years since then, because the last one was like in '89, something like that. So it's from like 79 to like 89, something like that. So, and it shows a definite change in times and, tones and things. The first Dirty Harry film was a showcase that this guy is action orientated. But if you bother to take a closer look at it, you'll find that he is not trigger happy. He's not a far rightist or whatever. Everyone keeps thinking that's what it is. It's like, no, no, no. Look at the man. He makes sure to know you're the bad guy. And look at everybody else. What do they do? The law, the sanctity of life, due process. And he's like, these guys are about ready to murder people. They're not going to be concerned about sanctity of life. They don't care about, really anything else. So why should he? Oh, hold on. Okay, sorry. And so, but Dirty Harry makes sure that the bad guys are the bad guys, So compared to everybody else, yes, he actually gets stuff done, but he's back-footed. He makes sure they're the bad guys. In the first film, they got a lot of flack from the critics saying, "Oh, it's too extreme and it's too that." It's like, okay, let's show you what actual, shoot first. Let's be full-on vigilantes. Remember, Dirty Harry's not a full-on vigilante. He does go by the book when the situation calls for it, and when the situation doesn't call for it, when people stand around saying, "I don't know what to do," there are people's lives on the line, but we're going to stand around and kind of go by what the book tells us and be bureaucrats, and it's like, just save them and shoot the bad guys. It shouldn't be that hard. So, so when you have the second film with all the the renegade cop thing going on, you see they're not killing people while in the line of action. No one's lives are on the line. They're not threatening anyone. All the bad guys are on a smoke break. They're having a barbecue. They're on the highway driving home or something. So all the bad guys aren't even doing bad guy things at the time. They're just people with past histories who said, "Yeah, I probably robbed a bank last week," or maybe anything like that. So they're not even doing bad things when they shoot them. So there's no discussion, innocent lives versus this guy. It's just, I'm just going home. I'm not driving recklessly on the freeway. I am obeying all the speed limits and signs, right? And they just shoot him. So, if you want to see what actual extremists, what renegade extremists look like, there you go. That's the second film. They kind of shut everybody up, the critics from the first film, which is what I like. When Dirty Harry seeing him constantly being challenged by the system, or him challenging the system, then you can't do that, Harry. You can't do that. What? Save lives? And so, by the third and fourth film, we still go into more nuances where he goes up against, like the first film was, a sniper. So it was a citywide problem. The second film was more of just an answer or reaction to the first film, so it wasn't really a danger to the public. It's more of a danger to the crime crime level in San Francisco at the time. The third film gets back to that, where it's back to a crisis, if I remember correctly. Was the hapless hippies, or beatniks, or the freedom fighters, but actually they're just being dicks to want to get money. That's it. So it was more of a not so much of a threat to the public, it's more of a threat because they kidnapped the mayor. That's more of a particular threat. And then in the fourth one, it's more specific because it's more about this hapless victim. I was saying hapless victim for this victim who was assaulted under the boardwalk. Then there's all that, so that's more specific, it's more personal, smaller scale. And then in the last film, it was back to public again because now we have this mass bomber serial killer guy. Well, he's going after celebrities, so yeah, it's back to being more of a bigger problem that Harry has to deal with. And we see the change in the times and him going up, saying different philosophies and dealing with different procedures and people. And yeah, he feels himself being bad luck. So when he says, "Oh yeah, I have a new partner," it's like I've already lost like 2 partners. It's like, how many more partners are you going to team me up with before you guys realize I don't need a partner because they constantly keep getting killed? So don't give me any more partners. And he doesn't like, Officer Moore, not just because she's a lady, but because she's too damn new at this. And it's like, yes, I'm going to trust my life to someone who's skittish and is far too green at this. It's like, you don't have nerves yet. You haven't developed that yet. That's why he kept saying that there are men out there for years. Because means people, officers out there for years who've just developed a sense of nerves, that steely-eyed sense to do their job. He doesn't feel that she doesn't have the mentality versus the mentality with the training necessary to do the job. That's what he's afraid of. But fortunately, he was proven wrong by the end. She sticks by him even after he was fired, and still sticks by him on his siege onto Alcatraz. And it's like, well, she proved him wrong, thankfully. All right. And then, by the last film, his next partner doesn't die. Does get seriously hurt, but doesn't die, thankfully. So they broke that trope. And that's about it. It just shows Harry dealing with different aspects of having to deal with different types of crime and people and situations. I'm supposed to handle things with kid gloves and kind of kiss your ass about things or be delicate about it. It's like, no, I'm just going to be me. He's unapologetically him, which is really nice. So he shouldn't have to coddle everybody he comes across, which is nice. So, having Dirty Harry end by the end of the 80s was rather a disappointment because having Dirty Harry come back at least 2 more times in the 90s and then in the 2000s, I think would have been awesome to see Dirty Harry deal with the shit that we now find to be annoying, But my feelings, all that jazz, having him deal with that, which is what I was hoping when Gran Torino came out, that was going to be a retired Dirty Harry dealing with the crime in his neighborhood, but it ended up trying to be just an Archie Bunker story situation. Regretfully, but still a phenomenal film and really good acted. Alright, I guess that's all I have to say on that. Dirty Harry is not front-footed reaction, he's back-footed reaction. He's back-footed because he's reactionary, not actionary. But to compare it to everybody else who wants to go by procedure and I don't know what to do, I want to make sure the sanctity of life, Harry actually just does something and gets the job done. So deep down, they're kind of a little bit envious of him that he actually does get the job done. That's my opinion. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and comment down below. And that's about it. Check out the movies for yourself. See what you think of them for this